Hello and welcome to Magical Travel Adventure. I am Lauren, your host, and today we are going to be talking all about how rotational dining works on Disney Cruise. If you've never taken a Disney cruise before, it can be a little weird and it's hard to understand sometimes rotational dining and how it works. So let's go over it. If you're new here, hello, I'm Lauren. I'm a travel advisor. I specialize in Disney destinations, cruising, and all-inclusive family vacations. Families go through a myriad of times. Sometimes you want that active vacation. Sometimes you want that low-key pampered vacation. So I take care of all those details so that you can enjoy your regular life and enjoy your vacation. So let's get into it. Disney Cruise Line has a very different approach to dining than a lot of other cruise lines. What they want to do is have you go to a dining experience and really, really enjoy it and then not stay at it. So they have this thing called rotational dining. Disney wants to entertain you while you are dining. They want the dining that the ship provides be the place that you want to be. So a lot of other ships, they will have main dining and then they'll have a bunch of other places that you can go and eat for an extra cost. Disney Cruise Line works a little differently. They have three main dining rooms that you rotate through during your cruise. And the things that you can pay for that are extra are only for adults. So you want to make sure that if you're traveling that you're okay with this first and that this is going to work for your cruise time. So there are three restaurants that you rotate through on all your cruises. Now, if you're going on a 3-night cruise, you'll get to each one, once. If you're on a 4-night cruise, there's one that you'll repeat, and a 5 and a 6 and a 7, you'll repeat them. Now, it doesn't always go like in order. Like if you did these three, you're going to, then rotate back and do these three again. I don't know why it's not like that, but it's not. So what happens is you will get your card, like the card that goes to your room key. We call that key to the world card. And that card on the back is going to show you what your dining is going to be for each night. Sometimes it'll only say the start of what it is, and then your dining team will show you, or in the app it'll show you. So just know that that can be a little confusing. But a lot of times it'll show up in the app, so you'll be able to see what your rotational dining is going to be. Or if not, when you get on board, you're going to look at the key, turn it around, and be like, oh, okay, so we're starting here. Of course, it's going to be abbreviated. So if you don't know what it is, you can ask any crew member on board. They will definitely be willing to help you. And the service team follows you. So the team that you have is going to go to all three restaurants with you, and they're going to be there each night. So you'll be able to go with them and they'll know you. So you still have the same team with you. They're just in different restaurants. There are different menus in each one of the restaurants also. So you want to take that into account too, that yes, they could probably get you something from another restaurant, but while you're at whatever the restaurant you're in that night, you want to order off that menu and then know that there are some classic things that are available every night and some things that are just available at that specific restaurant. So just make sure when you're looking, you're like, okay, maybe I don't need to order off the classic menu that's available everywhere. Maybe I'm just going to order what's off the menu from this specific restaurant. There are also two dining times, and they kind of vary. So I know I put in 5:45 and 8 o'clock, but they do kind of vary here. So just know that if you want the regular dining time, that always fills up fast. Disney Cruise Line is more geared towards kids. So getting that earlier dining time is important for kids. And so a lot of people are pushing for that, and that often gets filled up immediately. So the later time, that 8 o'clock, normally 8:15-ish time, is the time that's easier to get. You can go on a wait list if you don't get that 5:30 dining time. You can request it when you get on board. So all of those things are things that you can do, but you just want to make sure that if you want to get that early dining time, you book as soon as possible. I've booked clients as far out as 6 months in advance, and they still have not gotten that 5:45 time. Typically, when they get on board, they can work around things. So just know that. The other thing is, as you look at this, this is nice because there's smaller tables here. Sometimes you can get your own table, you can request it. Other times you're going to be sitting with other families. So it's not guaranteed that you can sit on your own, but you might be able to sit on your own. It's one of the things I don't like about cruising and why I don't like cruising like with a small, like just my immediate family. Because if I go with like my extended family, then we're more guaranteed that it'll just be us at our table. But that's one of the downsides that I have for cruising is that I don't really like sitting with other people. That's just me. All right, so let's go through the different ships. Now, at the time I'm recording this, I don't know anything about the Disney Treasure, so I don't know what the restaurants are going to be, but I'm assuming that there's going to be 3. You're going to rotate through them also. And maybe you'll see a pattern as we go through this. So on the top there, that is Animator's Palette. And this is a restaurant that's really going to entertain your kids. And that's the whole point. There's going to be some sort of entertainment for your kids while you're there. Then there's Lumineers down here. And then Rapunzel's Royal Table is here. There is sort of like a show that goes along with this. So again, some more entertainment. I think the Magic and the Wonder actually have better dining entertainment than the Dream of the Fantasy, but that's just me. Now on the Wonder, we have Animator's Palette again. We have Triton's, which to me, like there's always like that basic restaurant that you have when like that makes you think like, oh yes, I remember we're on a cruise. And the Triton's kind of reminds me of like that basic cruise experience. And then there's Tiana's Place. And again, there is a show, kind of like a show, and I'll say entertainment with this. Again, for some people, they don't want to ruin the magic of what happens during the dining experience. So I'm not going to give like any spoilers. I'm just going to say that there's going to be some sort of entertainment during this time. So if we move on to the Disney Dream, so the Magic and the Wonder are called like the classic ships. These are the basic ships, the ships that first came out. Then came the Dream and the Fantasy. So in the Disney Dream, there's Animator's Palette. Then there is the Royal Palace, which I kind of feel again is like that like regular restaurant that you would feel like that you get on the cruise. And then we have Enchanted Gardens. And I just like the way Enchanted Gardens is themed the most. That's like why I like it the most. And then the Disney Fantasy, we have, hey, Animator's Palette. Did you catch that? So all of them have Animator's Palette, the first 4. So that is a recurring theme. You're going to get that. So no matter which one of those 4 you're going to be on, you will get a chance to go into Animator's Palette. Now, this is also the Royal Court. Again, I feel like this is the like more basic type of restaurant. And then you have Enchanted Gardens again. So those are going to be those main dining experiences that you're going to rotate through. And if you're on the newest ship, the Disney Wish, they've kind of reimagined some things. So one of the things that they did is they made a new show, and it's Arendelle. So it's going to be Frozen themed. And I will tell you that the hallway to get there will get you into that spirit of Frozen. Then there is also World of Marvel. So people say that even though they don't like Marvel characters, they do like going to this restaurant. And then there's 1923, again, a more basic restaurant that is similar to what, it's supposed to be a callback to Walt Disney. Now, I talked about that there are other adult experiences. So on the Magic and the Wonder, they have a restaurant called Paolo, and you can pay extra for this. You do need to know that there are certain people who get this included in their cruise fare. So depending on your Castaway Club status, you might get the option to add on a Paolo, or if you're on the Dream and Fantasy, well, it's normally Paolo. So Palo might be hard to get into. And if you're going to Palo, you're not going to your regular, if you're going for dinner, you're not going to your regular dining experience. So you need to be okay with skipping whatever restaurant that is and not knowing which restaurant you're going to be skipping. So you're kind of like taking a guess there about what restaurant you're going to skip. On the Dream and the Fantasy, there are 2 options, Paolo or Remy, and then on the Wish, you have 2 new ones, you have 2, Enchante and Paolo. So these are extra experiences. You can book them in advance. There may be some options when you get on board to book them, but just know that these are things that typically book up quickly. So if it's important to you, you need to do that. If you're going with kids, they also need to be going to the kids club at this time or pay for the nursery. So because kids are not allowed here. The other thing you want to take into account here is there are dress codes for these places. So make sure that you look at that before you go and know that, okay, I need to have these clothes with me when I travel. All right, now besides rotational dining, there are other options. So there is a buffet that you can eat at. There is room service that you can order, and room service is pretty much included. There are like taxes, fees, and you want to tip your server, things like that. And there are different like quick service options. That's such a Disney term, but there's grab and go places. There's places out by the pool. There's all types of places that you can kind of go on the ship. Not all of them are like these big places, but there are different options. So it's not like, okay, I'm at the pool. Okay, I have to change to go into the buffet to get food. Like there's stuff on the pool deck that you can get so that you can eat food, and that's all included in your cruise fare. The bar areas, sometimes they'll offer some like snacky food options. So those are options too. So don't think that you're limited to just that rotational dining experience. There are other options too. Now, if there is a restaurant that you really, really want to repeat, like let's say your kid is really into Animator's Palette and you're going on a 4-day cruise, and it doesn't say that on your 4th day you're going to be at Animator's Palette. It says that you're going to be somewhere else. That's fine. You can go and request to see if you can go to Animator's Palette for that 4th night. You won't have your same serving team. You might have to sit with another family, but that is one of the options that you have. You can always go to guest services and request all these things. So don't feel like you can't do that. But there are different things that you want to think about with that rotational dining. The biggest thing I would say is if you have kids and you want that early dining time is to book early. And then from there, you'll be able to do it. On board, you can see what you can get done, and, you try. So let me know what questions you have about rotational dining. I'd love to answer them below, and I will talk to you next time on Magical Travel Adventure. Bye.